Welcome back to the Bead Table, and for today's Cottage Collection piece, we are creating something inspired by the Woodland Fox. When I think of a fox, I don't think of something loud or flashy. I think of something observant and thoughtful. A creature that moves carefully through the world, paying attention without carrying the weight of the entire forest. And lately, I've realized that there was a lesson in that for me. There was a season in my life when peace of mind felt impossible to find. On the outside, everything looked fairly normal. I went to work, took care of my responsibilities, I spent time with my family, and I moved through my days the same way that many people do. But inside my mind, there was a constant battle taking place, and most of it happened at night. The moment the house became quiet, my thoughts seemed to become louder. During the day, I could stay busy enough to keep them at arm's length. But when the distractions disappeared, they came rushing in. If you've ever struggled with intrusive thoughts, you know exactly what I mean. They don't arrive politely or ask for permission. They don't wait until you're ready. They simply just appear. And for me, it often started as a feeling. A pit in my stomach. A tiny spark of worry that seemed harmless at first, but the more attention that I gave it, the larger it became. The feeling would slowly rise upward from my stomach into my chest. My heart would start beating faster, and my breathing would become more shallow. And before long, it felt as though the world was ending right in front of me. Nothing had happened, no disaster had occurred, no emergency was unfolding. But my mind was convinced that something terrible was coming, and because it felt real, my body responded to it as though it were. Fear has a way of doing that. It can take a single thought and turn it into an entire storm. It can make uncertainty feel dangerous, and it can make ordinary moments feel threatening. It can convince you that every possibility deserves your immediate attention. And perhaps the hardest part of it was how alone it all felt. The best way that I can describe it is that it felt like the light around me was slowly dimming, not physically, but emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. Everything that once felt clear suddenly became cloudy, and everything that once felt manageable suddenly felt overwhelming, until eventually I felt surrounded by fear, completely unsure how to find my way back out. I kept searching for answers, and I kept believing that if I thought hard enough, worried long enough, or analyzed deeply enough, that I would eventually solve the problem. But the solution never came, because the problem wasn't that I wasn't thinking enough. The problem was that I was thinking too much. I was giving every thought equal importance. Every worry got a seat at the table, and every fear got my full attention. Every possibility was treated as if it were a certainty. And carrying that kind of mental weight is exhausting. Eventually, I reached a point where I simply just could not do it anymore, and not because I had become stronger or that I had suddenly figured everything out. I was just exhausted. Completely exhausted. I was exhausted from carrying fears that hadn't happened, from fighting the battles that existed only in my imagination, and from trying to figure out every possible outcome. Strangely enough, that exhaustion became the beginning of my healing. Because when you're tired enough, you're finally willing to try something different. One night I found myself asking a question. Not how do I stop having anxious thoughts, or not how do I eliminate fear completely, but how do I stop letting these thoughts control my life? And that question changed everything. Because I slowly began to realize something. Thoughts are not facts. They're just thoughts. Simple enough to say, I know. Much harder to believe. Especially when those thoughts feel convincing and when they show up at midnight, carrying fear. For years, I treated every thought like an emergency. If a worry appeared, I felt responsible for solving it. And if a possibility appeared, I felt obligated to analyze it. If something made me feel uncomfortable, I believed that I had to fix it immediately. and looking back, I gave my thoughts far more authority than they deserved. Not because they were always wrong, but because I assumed that they were always right. I assumed that they were always important, that they always deserved my attention. What I didn't understand at the time was that the human mind creates thoughts all day long. Did you know that? Thousands of them. Some are useful and helpful, and some do deserve attention. But then there are some that just simply pass through. The problem was that I didn't know the difference. Every thought felt urgent, every thought felt meaningful, and every thought felt real. Then I began noticing something. The thoughts that seemed enormous at 1 o'clock in the morning often looked very different the next day. Problems that felt impossible were suddenly manageable. Worries that felt overwhelming lost much of their power. Nothing had changed. The circumstances were the same. But my perspective was different. I wasn't seeing life through exhaustion anymore. I was seeing it through clarity. And that taught me something important. Sometimes what we need isn't another answer. We need rest. We don't need to think harder. We need to think less. And sometimes we don't need another solution. We just need a moment to breathe. And I think that's one reason that I've always felt really drawn to nature. Nature doesn't rush, it doesn't panic, and it doesn't obsess over tomorrow. The trees could care less about next Tuesday. And the wildflowers, they don't compare themselves to one another. The fox doesn't spend every moment imagining worst-case scenarios. It's simply just paying attention to what's happening right now, and there's wisdom in that. When I imagine a fox moving through the woods, I don't imagine fear. I think about awareness and trust, quiet confidence, noticing its surroundings. It responds when necessary, and it will seek shelter when needed. But it doesn't carry the entire forest on its shoulders. And somewhere along the way, I realized that I had been carrying things that were never mine to carry. I was carrying imagined futures, imagined disasters and outcomes, things that hadn't happened and might never happen. The more that I reflected on that, the more I understood something. Caring and worrying are not the same thing. For years, I believed they were. I believed that worrying proved that I cared, that worrying made me responsible, that worrying somehow protected me. But worry has never prevented pain. It has never guaranteed a better outcome. And many of the things that did happen were things that I successfully navigated anyway. That realization right there was freeing, because it helped me understand that I am stronger than my fears. And maybe you are too. As I began letting go of some of that mental weight, I noticed something surprising. Life became visible again, not because it had changed, but because I had. I started noticing small moments, the warmth of a cup of coffee, the quiet before the rest of the house woke up, the sound of the rain against the window or when the sunlight would move across a room, the comfort of a familiar routine, and the satisfaction of finishing something creative with my own two hands. Those moments had always existed. I just hadn't been present enough to see them. And maybe that's one reason why I love making jewelry. Because when I'm sitting here working with beads and wire, my attention shifts. Instead of replaying worries, I'm choosing colors. And instead of imagining my problems, I'm creating something tangible. Instead of living in tomorrow, I'm spending time in this moment. And there's something deeply peaceful about that. For a long time, I didn't realize how important creativity would become in my life. When I first started making jewelry, I thought that I was just simply learning a new hobby. I thought that I was collecting beads, lots of beads, learning techniques, and making pretty things. And while all of that was true, there was something deeper happening that I couldn't see at the time. Every time I sat down to create, I was giving my mind somewhere safe to rest. Instead of focusing on what might happen tomorrow, I was choosing the next bead. Instead of replaying conversations from earlier in the day, I was thinking about colors, textures, and patterns. And instead of living in fear of the future, I was fully engaged in the present moment. I didn't recognize it then, but those quiet moments were helping me heal. Not because jewelry has special powers, although some would argue that they do. Not because creativity removes every challenge from life, but because creating requires presence. You can't really be here and somewhere else at the same time. You can't focus on stringing beads while also chasing every fearful thought down every rabbit trail. The act of creating gently pulls you back into the moment. And I think that's why so many people are drawn to creative hobbies. Whether it's gardening, quilting, painting, woodworking, baking, or beading, there is something comforting about working with your hands. It's grounding and it's honest. You begin with a collection of individual pieces that don't look like much on their own. And slowly, piece by piece, something beautiful begins to emerge. In many ways, healing feels similar. Most of the time, healing isn't one big breakthrough. It's a collection of small choices, a collection of small moments, a collection of tiny acts of kindness towards yourself. And eventually those moments begin connecting together, much like beads on a strand. One moment of peace becomes another, one healthy habit becomes another, and one good day becomes another. Until one day you look back and you realize that you've traveled much farther than you thought. Not because it makes every challenge disappear, but because it reminds me of where life is actually happening. Right here, right now, one bead at a time. As I worked on this Woodland Fox design, I kept thinking about shelter. Not the kind made from wood or stone, but the kind that we create inside of ourselves. The place that we return to when life feels overwhelming. A place where we can rest. A place where fear doesn't get the final word. And the place where we remember who we are beneath all of the noise. I think that's why the woodland fox feels so meaningful to me. The fox doesn't seem concerned with proving itself. It isn't rushing through the forest trying to get somewhere else. It trusts its path, and it trusts its instincts. And perhaps most importantly, it knows when to seek shelter. For a long time, I believed strength meant pushing through everything alone. Now I think strength is also knowing when to rest, knowing when to step back, and knowing when to return to the things that help you find yourself again. For me, finding that place has been a journey, not a destination, but a journey. Some days are easier than others, and some nights are quieter than others. Some weeks I feel really grounded, while other weeks everything is a dumpster fire. But I've learned that peace doesn't require perfection, it only requires practice. Practice returning to the present moment, questioning the fearful thoughts, noticing beauty, creating, resting, and trusting. Little by little, those practices changed my life. Not overnight and not dramatically, but steadily. The way that a forest grows. The way that roots spread beneath the surface before anyone ever sees them. The way that the fox quietly finds its path through the woods. And if you're listening today and you've ever felt trapped by your own thoughts, I hope that you know something. You're not alone. You're not the only one who has laid awake at night wishing your mind would finally be quiet. You're not the only one who has felt fear convince you that something terrible was just around the corner. And you're not the only one who has searched for peace. And you're certainly not the only one who is still learning, because that's what this journey really is. Learning, growing, finding our way, again and again. Maybe your version of peace looks different than mine. Maybe it comes through the gardening, reading, prayer, walking, painting, music, or nature, or even just creativity in general. Whatever it is, I hope that you make room for it, because those small moments matter, more than we often realize. They become the roots that keep us steady, the shelter that we return to, the quiet den that we build for ourselves in the middle of a noisy world. Thank you for spending part of your day with me here at the Bead Table, and I hope that this Woodland Fox piece brought you a little inspiration, a little creativity, and a reminder that peace isn't something that you have to chase. Sometimes it's just simply something that you return to. Until next time, be kind to yourself, trust your journey, and keep creating one bead at a time. Bye, y'all.